And as Minister for Defence Industry, I've got to ask you a couple on the Defence Strategic Review. Such a major shift in our posture, defence posture, detailed yesterday by the Prime Minister and the DPM. When you talk about the sovereign capacity to build missiles, and then on top of that we've got the submarine requirement, as Minister for Defence Industry, have we got the scope to do this?
Oh, we do. Yeah. We have to build up our workforce, and one of the things we did out of the AUKUS submarines announcement was allocate $30 billion over the life of the program, including $3 billion in the next 4 years to train Australians. We've got this old-fashioned concept that we'll actually pay to train Australians rather than try and poach them from other industries. Because you're absolutely right, if we poach them, there aren't enough. But if we train them, we can obviously have Australian-made submarines and Australian-made missiles, and we can develop high-tech industries. Constructing nuclear-powered submarines is the most advanced manufacturing that's occurring in the world, and Australia will be at the centre of that as we develop this program. So it's a tremendously exciting time to be the Minister for Defence Industry, and it's a great privilege.
And one of the other areas where we've got to build sovereign capacity is in the area of fuels. There's going to be a fuel council or whole of government fuel council established. How soon can we expect that to deliver results?
Oh, look, I think that will take some time, and we'll need to coordinate with the civilian authorities. But fuel security is massive, not just for the ADF, but for the country as a whole. And that was part of the critical election commitments we gave, including the commitment to establish a maritime strategic reserve fleet. And so what you're seeing from the Albanese Labor government is a concept of national defence. So not just ADF there to defend the nation, but using all tools of government to support our national security, and fuel security is a great example of that.
Let me get your reaction quickly. I know you've got some other commitments in PNG. I want to ask you though, Andrew Hastie said, despite the urgency of the strategic challenge, this is his quote, we don't have a strategy until next year. We've seen no new dollars spent. In fact, we're actually seeing cuts and cannibalisation of army capability. What do you say to Mr Hastie?
Well, I'm hesitant to buy into this on Anzac Day, to be honest, Kieran. I think this is a day for solemn reflection and commemoration. But I'll make a couple of quick points. One, that the strategy was released yesterday. Yes, there'll be an update through the National Defence Strategy next year, but the strategy was released yesterday, and we've been upfront that involves making hard choices. The last government added $42 billion of spending commitments to the defence budget without adding a single dollar. So if you don't add another dollar, you have to cut or reprioritise other projects to deliver those projects you're now committing to. And that's what we've done. We've made the hard choices, things that are a lower priority, we've either delayed, rescoped, or in a limited number of cases cancelled, in order to free up funds. In this case, we've allocated $19 billion to invest in reshaping the Australian Army, investing in long-range strike, going from an Australian Army that can reach 40 kilometres with its weapons to one that will reach over 500 kilometres, investing in things like joint strike missiles for our F-35s and sovereign missile manufacturing capability. So we make no apologies for that. We've made hard choices. We've been transparent with the Australian public, and we've committed over the medium term that defence funding will rise above its current trajectory. But ultimately, we're being honest and transparent. We don't treat the defence budget like a magic pudding, which unfortunately is what occurred under the last government.
Now, finally, Phil Thompson, a veteran himself, he said, and he's the Assistant Shadow Minister, he said, I'm absolutely appalled that the Prime Minister and Defence Minister are so out of touch to release the Defence Strategic Review the day before Anzac Day. He's been annoyed by that choice and the timing. Have you got any reaction to that?
Oh, well, Mr Thompson's entitled to his opinion. What you saw yesterday was a very sober, responsible government releasing a policy in the area which is our number one obligation, which is the national security of the nation. You didn't see any razzmatazz. You didn't see Top Gun music or prime ministers sitting in fighter jets. What you saw is a sombre release of an important policy. And we're not politicking today. I came on to talk about Anzac Day. We'll talk about the DSR tomorrow. Today is about sombre reflection about the sacrifice. We had last year's Anzac Day during the election campaign. and everyone paused during a very heated political debate to commemorate the sacrifice of 103 Australians and obviously countless others who were wounded and served. And then the next day you got back into the political debate. That's what this government does, because we're responsible. We don't politicise defence. We don't politicise national security. We do what's right for the nation.
Joining me from Port Moresby, Minister for Defence Industry, Minister for the Pacific, Pat Conroy. Thanks as always.
Thanks, Kieran. Have a good day.